Hi there. Welcome to Stories, a podcast by Acadium where we focus on the stories of our incredible users. People come to Acadium for a few different reasons. They might be looking to build new skills, whether that's for a career change or just to deepen their craft, or they might be looking to get some eager extra hands on their project or business. In any case, people come to Acadium to grow, and we find that our users often have amazing stories to tell about their journeys, and we're here to share them. Our guest today is Venetia Reddy. Venetia is joining us from South Africa, where she's currently in law school, but has also completed 8 apprenticeships on Acadium. Venetia joined Acadium back in 2019 and has been using the platform to build her skills in digital marketing so that she can work on building her own company. Today, we're going to talk about her approach to learning and building those skills and what she works on with her company and her goals for the future. Thanks for joining us, Venetia.
Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Of course. And thanks for joining us so late in the evening as well. There's a big time difference for us. We're here in Ontario, so we appreciate you staying up late to chat.
No problem.
I think a good place to start would be to talk about how you developed this interest in digital marketing, because like I said in the introduction, I know that you're in law school, but you also have this whole other life going on where you've done these 8 apprenticeships and you're working on building your own company. Can you talk to me a little bit about how you first developed that interest in digital marketing?
Right. So initially, I really didn't know what a social media manager was. I wasn't even sure that there was a job title for it. And I started off studying towards my law degree. That was great, but I sort of took the non-conventional route and I decided to study and work a full-time job. I went through a couple of jobs before I landed a job as a social media manager, and that's when I sort of developed an interest in the field. And that's basically the foundation of where I started to want to learn more about digital marketing.
What was the company like that you worked for as a social media manager? What were you focusing on there?
Okay, so the company actually was really diverse and focused on many different areas, like from copywriting to property. And they were really just starting to develop a social media agency. And they obviously picked up on my skills and wanted me to take the lead of the social media department there. And they gave me the position of a social media coordinator. So I was basically coordinating and managing several accounts for different businesses that they were working for here in South Africa, from like the restaurant industry to advertising. And I would really just focus on creating pieces of content each day for each individual business, you know? And yeah, I worked there for about a year and a half.
And it sounds like this was a new thing for you being a social media manager. And if I understand correctly, it sounded like other people at the company might not have had much experience managing social media either.
That's right.
So what was your approach to basically learning these skills while you were on the job so that you could do a good job for the company?
It was really new for not just me. I had always had like a sort of knack for like social media and creating stuff, because I would like market myself when I was younger, like doing like music stuff and things like that. But when I eventually entered the company, they weren't really sure what social media was about, but there was a sort of hype about it, and so they wanted to tap into the industry. And so they basically just gave the job to me to just kind of run with it, really.
That's great. And can you talk to me a little bit about how you then decided that you wanted to start your own company from this? Was this sort of the motivation, the inspiration to go and do that?
Not necessarily. I mean, when I did work for the company, I felt quite limited because I had been given these big projects to work on, but I really didn't have anyone to kind of lean on in this particular industry. And I wasn't given many resources either. I was sort of just given this work to kind of figure it out by myself on the way. And to be honest, I actually spent a lot of time alone in my department and in the office, just sort of working on this one thing. And so I obviously wanted to develop my skills and move into the industry, but I hadn't really intended to start a social media management and digital agency. It was really just by chance. I felt limited in the company at some point, and basically what I decided to do was I felt like it was time to move on and look for other opportunities. And so thankfully I had been given an opportunity to work for an app, and whilst I was working for this app, I had time to build up some capital and obviously venture into developing my skills. And that's when I came across Acadium. So it was really timely.
Okay, tell me about that experience that you had with Acadium. What was your first apprenticeship like?
Well, the first day I applied, I was so interested in it because I was kind of shocked that there were so many resources put so well together for free, and I had completed several courses. And on the first day, like within the first 2 days, I think, of signing up and finishing the courses, and then I I signed a contract with my first mentor, who was really just amazing because I learned so much from her. And the great thing was that the opportunity that Acadium gives is that you get to connect with business owners. And I think that that's kind of where the influence came from, where I was like, I saw the opportunity and I kind of tapped into it, in terms of starting a digital agency, but also, seeing other successful business owners build things and be a part of their process was it played a big influence. And my first apprenticeship with my first mentor was just a really great experience. I mean, we clicked automatically, and I created content for her. I learned more about the structure of the business, and I mean, we still work together till today, and that's a year going in.
That's amazing. It's
Yeah.
always really nice to hear that these relationships can carry forward into the future. What kind of company does that mentor run?
She has a communication based business. So it's really in sales coaching and communication coaching as well. So that's the industry that she's in.
Interesting.
Yeah,
And that was apprenticeship number one. To date,
that's right.
you've done 8 different apprenticeships. So
Right.
I think it's fair to say that you're probably one of the most experienced learners or apprentices on Acadium, and you've grown into this place where you now run your own company, which I would like to get into. But one thing I'd like to learn a little bit more about is what you've learned over time through doing these apprenticeships about working remotely with people and how to do that really well. I think that this is something that's really relevant for me. I mean, I'm interested in learning about this, but also so many different people around the world right now who are having to work remotely with their colleagues and their clients really for the first time.
Right, right. So, managing it all, I'm not going to say it was easy. It definitely required me to sacrifice a lot of things. For example, like limiting my social time and focusing on development and learning and stuff. But the things that I've learned through the process of being on the platform has really kind of changed my mindset. When I initially started, I was just like, I'm building my digital skills, and I was so interested in learning more about digital marketing, but I didn't just get that. The important part for me was the fact that when I had started with a business project, when I had left my job, I didn't really have the skill set or the mindset actually to turn it into a success, and it kind of didn't work out. But when I joined the platform, it kind of changed my mindset in that I started to realize how to structure things really well, manage my time, so many important skills that's needed to move into building a business and building a network. one of the important things was learning how different people from across the world manage things, and obviously seeing how they're able to be productive, and the skills that they've obviously developed kind of rubs off on you, you know, when you choose a mentor. I mean, the one mentor that I worked with, I'm still working with her actually. She's also in the coaching industry, but she focuses on peace and managing your stress. And, you know, you just learn so much in these kind of, in terms of life skills as well, not just digital marketing skills, business skills. It's just so many things I learned, you know. In terms of working from home and just doing like 8 apprenticeships and managing other stuff as well, I think it really boils down to discipline and time blocking, you know, making sure that when you plan out your schedule, it's as detailed as possible. That's definitely helped me a lot. And also to, once you time block, to make time for developing other things, like focusing on like your fitness and focusing on spending time with family or sport, you know, things where you can, even making time to kind of relax and kind of rejuvenate, to come back and learn more and be more.
I appreciate that advice, especially the note about discipline. I think for me, that's something that I realized since going fully remote. Some of my time has always been remote, but the need to block off time to do certain things, not just within the workday, but outside of the workday, to make sure that, I mean, especially right now with COVID-19, just to stay healthy and stay
Right.
sane
Yeah.
is huge. So that resonates with me in a big way.
Yeah.
At what point, I'm curious to understand, at what point throughout, whether it was the apprenticeship journey or if it had to do with other things going on in your life, did you build the confidence or get the inspiration to say, I'd like to go and start my own agency?
Right. So, like I mentioned, before I started my first apprenticeship, I focused on a product-based business, and it didn't work out. But after my first apprenticeship, working with my first mentor, I saw the opportunity in that. And after my first apprenticeship, I sort of built the confidence to say, you know what, this is something that I want to start. And I mean, uh, fast forward 2 years, that's exactly what I've been doing, you know, building my clientele and just getting deeper into the industry.
Tell me a bit about your business. So, what is it that you do with these clients?
Right. So it's a social media management and digital marketing agency. And basically, what I do is I help companies in terms of their brand reputation create content that's consistent, daily content, pushing out content for them that obviously represents their brand, their business, and in essence, marketing their products and services on every online platform.
How do you go about sourcing clients?
You know, I really focus on building relationships with the clients that I have. So I really enjoy, like, you know, like networking events and just really developing a relationship with the people that I work with first and foremost. I think it's really important that I understand their product and their service, and it's something that I believe in as well before marketing it.
So, the note about relationships is interesting to me, and I'm going to go back to the remote work thing because I think this idea of building a network when we're all working in this remote world gets a little bit challenging for people. How has your approach to relationship building changed over the past few months with all of your work being remote?
You know, it definitely has affected me. But the thing is, because I'm online so much of the time, I've learned to obviously utilize things like FaceTime, things like Zoom, and Skype to obviously connect with my clients more regularly and keep up to date. We stay in regular communication throughout the day, whether there needs to be updates that need to go up on social media. So obviously, I kind of miss the personal touch to things, and like meeting up for coffee or something of that sort. but it hasn't really changed much. I've kind of found ways to kind of strengthen the relationships right now with my clients whilst online. In fact, they're actually more available right now, so I can message them and they respond faster because we're all at home and we're all focused, on being online and stuff. So yeah.
I'm glad to hear that the impact hasn't been that significant for you. And it sounds like part of that might just be that everybody is in this together and everybody's working to
Right.
figure out ways to make it work for themselves. So
Right.
that's good to hear. You strike me as somebody who's highly ambitious and hardworking. I mean, the fact that you're in law school right now while working on all of these other things that we're talking about, I think confirms that. What are your goals for the company that you're working on? How do you think about the future?
Right. So I'm definitely looking at building it, and currently looking to employ more people and give them the opportunity to start in the industry, offer training and things like that to obviously pass accounts on to them so that they can obviously run with it, and just build a company culture that is focused on living well in terms of um, not just in company life and in work life, but also outside in terms of personal life as well. One of my goals is definitely to create a community where people are being their best selves and reaching their potential, whether they're working in my company or whether I'm working with them in some different capacity. My goals are really centered around reaching and helping other people fulfill their goals. And if I can do that through a business like digital marketing, then I'm really happy about that. So my goals are definitely centered around that, and also to use my legal skills to build my business as well.
You mentioned that you would think about hiring people in the future. How would you go about thinking about that if you were to bring people into your company to work at the agency? What would your approach to hiring be?
I actually wouldn't look at a CV, although I feel like it is really important in terms of the hiring process that goes on in some companies. But based on my experience, if I knew that a potential um, employee had gone through like Acadium, I'd definitely hire them straight away, because it tells me so much about the fact that they decided to take on like 3 months. And, in terms of passion, I think when you're passionate about something, that's just really my biggest question. Like, are you passionate enough about this? And what your intention and motivation would be to obviously work in like a digital agency. I definitely think that those are definitely on the forefront of my mind. Passion is a big thing for me. The reason why you want to do something. I know that a lot of the times, I mean, I've done it myself. I've worked in jobs, just for a paycheck, and that is sometimes necessary. But looking back with my experience with Acadium, and this is where my mindset really changed. I realized that it's more important to build a really good network, because they say your network is your net worth. So it really, really is important to find mentors, find people that you admire and you see them in a place that you would like to be in, and work for free if you need to for a couple of months. But eventually it really pays off more than just getting a paycheck at the end of the month. So passion is a big thing for me.
What are you most passionate about?
I'm most passionate about people and seeing them live their best lives, in terms of, financially, emotionally, just all around well-beings. I'm really passionate about that. I'm passionate about what I'm currently doing, building something with digital marketing and learning how people respond to different different things that we put out there into the online world. And just I'm just passionate about so many things. And most definitely, though, my first and foremost passion is learning. I believe that learning and just keep learning, not just for like a paper, but just to continue learning is the key to anything and the key to life. And I'm just the most passionate about that. So yeah.
That one doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah. Would you, you strike me as somebody who would be a perfect mentor for somebody on Acadium. I know you've been an apprentice 8 times. Have you thought about using Acadium as a mentor for your business and to teach an apprentice out there?
Definitely. I'm actually hoping to do that. And maybe the next month or so.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I know any apprentice would be happy to have you. That's cool. I think that's it. I don't want to take too much of your time because I know it's late there. But thank you so much for taking the time with us. Maybe I'll end off with one last question, which
Sure.
I think could be helpful to anybody who might be listening to this that's thinking about taking a step to become an apprentice through Acadium. Given that you have so much experience doing that, what advice would you have for somebody who's thinking through that decision right now?
You really have nothing to lose. It's easy. There's resources. There's so many things that you can learn from the experience. An apprenticeship is only 3 months and it's 10 hours a week, which is not much. And within those 10 hours a week, you can learn so much, not just about digital marketing, but about the work world, work life, business, whatever you're really trying to learn about, you can do that on Acadium. And the most important thing is to choose a mentor that you resonate with, someone that you really like, you love their work. You could be in the same industry. I mean, that would be a bit more helpful. But yeah, once you start on it, give it your all. Make the most of the time. Try and learn as much as you can. Ask many questions. And yeah, just enjoy the process and enjoy learning and learning about the field. And yeah, that's my advice.
It's well said. I appreciate you sharing that, and I'm sure many people who would be listening to this, thinking through that decision, will also appreciate it. So thank you, and thank you so much for your time.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me.
Of course. We'll talk to you later. Take care, Venetia.
Okay. Bye.